What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video, and I've been down here locked away in the film lab for at least a few hours now, taking a look at my man Cody Barton. Now on the surface, Barton looks a lot like Cole Holcomb, but I'm here to tell you that maybe so in some ways and maybe not so in others. But one thing for sure that we're starting to learn now is that Ron Rivera is not real big on going out and just bringing in these high-dollar linebackers. With Barton, they've got a young guy that they can bring in and mold into what they want. And Seattle runs a somewhat similar system, not completely the same, but over the course of his 11 starts last year, he was able to adapt to that system real well, I think, actually. He got a lot better as the season went on. He does have a tendency to disappear in big games, but anyway, let's go ahead and just dive right into this. And I figured I'd start off in the film. Why not just jump right in to him picking off Tom Brady, right? I mean, for a guy 26 years old and in the stage of his career, that's probably a pretty big moment for him. He picked off Tom Brady, a guy that's got more Super Bowl rings than anybody else in the history of the game. And there is a reason why I started here, and that's because I want to showcase one thing. I think that this kid has got a really good set of hands, all right? Seems like he's always there to put, his mitts on the ball some way, some form if he can. And he actually made a pretty good catch there. Now, when I look at this film, I always try to search for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And hopefully there's not a lot of ugly, but oftentimes there's some stuff that's stuck in between, bad and ugly. And this is somewhere in there. I mean, what I was saying before, Barton is still learning, the ins and outs of this spot. Like, he's not used to being a starter at all. Last year was the first time they ever really got a big, role with a team as far as being able to start 11 football games and do a lot more for that team than he probably expected the year before. But in this position right here, he kind of got caught looking at the quarterback for a moment and got mesmerized with the play instead of paying attention to the zone coverage that he was supposed to be in. But if you watch the play right here on a little bit of a closer scheme, you can see that he gets looking, in the backfield over at Russell Wilson and stops paying attention to the wide receiver who slips in behind him. Everybody else is playing, where they're supposed to play. And he just gets caught with his eyes back there in the backfield, as you see. And I think that's Floyd. But he's a veteran receiver. He's going to slide in and do the thing that he needs to do. Maybe Barton thought that the other linebacker that was on the play there over the middle there was going to take care of that, but he was down there with Judy throwing a double team on him. So, this is the type of play right here that they need to clean up with him coming in. Hopefully he doesn't do stuff like this for us, right? But he doesn't have a whole lot of experience at this point in the film right here. This was, I believe, early on in the season. Over time, this got better. So hopefully they're able to bring him in. And, like I said a moment ago, the way Rivera kind of appears like he's kind of likes to bring guys in that need a little bit more. I'm starting to wonder if it's the reason why he doesn't like to bring like those big name free agents in is because him and Del Rio believe they can turn anybody into this great linebacker. And well, they were linebackers in the NFL. So in all reality, they should be able to do something with pretty much anybody that shows at least good baseline talent. And I think this kid's got it. So it'll be nice to see what they try to do with him. This play right here actually showcases some ability for him that I don't really think that he's been able to hone in on, and that's a little bit of a pass rushing ability. And he's fast. So with that speed, I think this is something that they'll be able to do more with in the coming future, in the coming season. As you see, he was able to split the gap right there and be able to come in and just do what he wanted. He was so quick, the lineman couldn't do anything. Yeah, we need to see more of that this year right here. Even if it's just a couple of times, this season, I want to see this used more effectively than they did. I believe he only got 2 sacks on the year. That's obviously one of them right there. I always like to see my guys get tackles for loss. To me, that's the name of the game is to take away yards. So anytime we can see our guy knock their guy into the backfield and actually, take away some yardage, that's great. You know, when I first saw this play, I was like, wow, what in the world happened there? Because I watched it from the other angle, and you could see Cody Barton just kind of go across the screen in an odd way. But if you watch it again, you can see that he's getting pushed or blocked in the back the entire way across the screen there by 64. And there was no flag called there. And the thing that I noticed, though, is that instead of, you know, complaining right away and throwing a big fit in the middle of the play, he ran the play out and tried to chase Deebo Samuel down, who was, you know, obviously not a slow guy. And the 49ers were able to get a big chunk of yardage on that play, but it was quite obviously a penalty that they missed. Right there, if you didn't see it, 57. You know, at the end of it, he sticks his hands up like, hey, ref, you know, what in the world? But he didn't do it in the middle of the play, and you got to have respect for a guy that would rather run the play out. And I like that his motor, you know, just keeps going too. That's something that I noticed about him. And I've said in the past, I don't know if you guys have ever heard me talk about this particular subject, I absolutely love players that have that high motor, you know, that just never stop, you know, from one side of the field to the other, they don't give up. To me, that's my kind of player. I feel like this guy is just a couple of shades away from being great at being a run stopper. He's really good at that line of scrimmage. I really like, you know, how he attacks the ball, you know, and the ball carrier. I really enjoy watching how good of a job he does that at this point in his career. That's definitely the major strength of his game right now, against the run. I am definitely an old school football fan, so when I think of linebackers, I think of big hits. So it's good to see a big hit that's still considered clean in this game, even though I think that, you know, hey, whatever, they kind of throw around rules like, you know, like it's candy to kids or whatever nowadays, man. I think they're ridiculous, but whatever. They're trying to protect the players, they say. But I love to see a guy that will lay the wood when he gets a chance. Now, watch it from this angle, and then we'll watch it from the other angle. Yeah, I just like seeing it again. Bow! Yeah, I like hits, man. Like I said, call me old school if you want. I know today's, you know, younger fan or whatever likes to see points and scoring and all that. I like big hits, man, and fumbles and quarterback sacks. That's my thing. I like that. You know, I like interceptions too. I like touchdowns too, you know, but man, I just like hits. To me, that's football. You know, the purpose of showing this particular play, I don't want to rub dirt in this man's face or anything, because I'm not really certain that this is really his fault, this play, you know, the length of where this play heads. I don't really think that's his fault at all, actually. He gets caught kind of off balance here trying to make this tackle, and yes, he does try to make it as an arm tackle up top on a big guy like that. You know, you're going to have a problem getting him down, but I'm still impressed at how his motor kept going and how he chased the play down and made the tackle. Now, yes, I know that play should have not gone that far, but it just impresses me that a guy, you know, that young, he didn't give up, and he chased the play down, and he made the tackle, even though he screwed up at the beginning of the play. Now, remember, I said a little bit ago, this guy has some decent hands, I think, you know, and a little bit of work and some more work and practice and some more tip drills and whatnot. And they could really hone in on something with this guy on this one, and he could get a lot of turnovers going, I think, just my personal opinion. But if you watch this play right here, he definitely almost had an interception right there. Again, I like hitting, you know, I like a guy that makes a hit, drives the guy to the ground, you know. As long as it's still legal, then I like to see it, and I want to keep seeing it. And here's another example of it right here. Zach Ertz to the ground. And you can watch it from the other angle if you'd like. Good open field tackling. And here's a good example of a guy coming out of the backfield, and he's slippery, and watch, he slips one tackle, slips a second tackle, and our guy, Cody Barton, is like, no, sir, you're going to the ground, son, and I'm going to put you there. And see, that's what I'm talking about. I think I could see some grit in this guy. Like, right now, he's still wet behind the ears, you know, maybe like he's still got a little bit of puppy left in him. Maybe he's squatting still a little. This guy needs a little bit more coaching up from, you know, some linebackers like I said before, like Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio. They are known for being, you know, whatever their grit. They need to give this kid some grit, and we might see that right there all the time. Boom. He slices right through this line and shows us why he eventually could be an elite run stopper in this league. I'm telling you, you get some more experience underneath this guy's belt, and he's going to be one hell of a run stopping linebacker. Look at that. The instincts are there, man. They just have to hone in on them and teach them more. Of course, experience is the lovely thing of all of this. You know, he's only started 16 games in his career, I think, or 11 last year. So in 11 games last year, he came a long ways from the beginning of the season to the end of it. I can tell you as somebody that saw the tape from the beginning to the end of it. Now, the reason I wanted to show you guys this clip right here is I love the way that he's able to fight through this. Like, he fights through a block, and the guy's got him pretty good too there, man. Held in on him, and he fights through that block, and then there's some garbage there, jumps over a teammate, keeps coming. The guy stops and tries to cut back, and he's there just to make the tackle, bellow right over him, whatever you want to say. He does what he needs to do, stops the play. I love a guy that doesn't stop, you know, like some of these players lollygag, you know, after the play bust free, they lollygag. This guy did not lollygag. This guy jumped over the player, and I mean, it's kind of perfect how he did it. Jumped over the player and kept on going. He was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for this, and then whop. Oh yeah, did I mention that he's pretty good against the run? Now this play right here was a big third down, and I mean, he just busted right free through there and just killed that play completely. Stopped them from getting the first down. I mean, and killed their drive right there. Oh, hell, maybe I'm being a little bit picky here, but it seems like, you know, his instincts were he does this little hop, I guess, and it seems like maybe his instincts kind of made him pull up a little bit on this play right here, and Barton started paying attention to the quarterback again instead of paying attention to the player that's next to him in zone, and the guy slips behind him and gets the touchdown. Now, like I said, maybe I'm being a little too picky there, but to me, that looks like he's at fault there. It could be the guy on the back end of the coverage as well, but I believe it's Barton paying attention to the quarterback too long there. There's already a guy that's after the quarterback, so technically speaking, he's not even really supposed to be doing that, I don't believe, unless he's on a quarterback spy, which I guess he could be, but as you see the play progress, you could see that he sees it immediately. Now, that said, he made up for it on this play right here, which wasn't maybe 2 plays later, and got his hand in there and batted that ball away. Every once in a while, you can see the dog in there trying to creep out a little bit, and right here, I believe he pissed that man off right there, like slamming him to the ground like that. Like, he stopped and looked at him like, wait a minute, what are you doing that for, man? Watch it again from this direction. Yeah, number 12 for Carolina. Barton grabs him and then just drives him like, pow. Now, I can see where a guy might get a little upset over that, you know, if he's had like problems with his shoulders or whatever the case may be, you know, that could cause an issue there. Pow. Remember, the other direction, and he's going up against George Kittle here, and as you watch him in the other direction, he bounces back and forth. He has no clue where he's supposed to go in the moment. Everybody else on Seattle's defense appears to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, I believe Barton is supposed to come down and cover the middle here, but he obviously doesn't. There's a safety over the side here. He doesn't look like he's doing his job either. As the play progresses a little bit more, you see Kittle is just wide open there to just take off. And I mean, George Kittle is one of, you know, the top, 3 tight ends in the league, and does that quite a bit to quite a bit of teams. But to me, that's Barton showing his inexperience. He should have slid over across and been covering at least a portion of the field. His speed, he should have been able to keep up with Kittle as well. And if you watch, and that's something that, you know, a linebacker really shouldn't be doing. He should be trying to lay the pads on that man, but Kittle is elusive. So, in my opinion, that's a hard one to call. But to me, he kind of approached that kind of more like how a safety would or a corner would. I think he should have hit him or tried to hit him right there, put the wood on him, but Kittle was able to slip it and just get away from him. Again, I like it when the linebackers lay some wood, man, and I don't get to see it much. And in this guy's season, I didn't get to see it many times watching his film, but it was nice to see it the handful of times he did it. It's there, so we know we can see it a couple times a year, hopefully. This wild card game against the 49ers, Barton pretty much disappeared. He really did. He was not there as far as playing a big game or not. Maybe they just went away from him. I'm not certain altogether. But you see on this play right here, those hands still doing what I was talking about a little bit ago. He knows how to put them up, and you keep working with him, and he's going to get better and better at it. One thing Barton has that you can't teach is speed, and he's got a good deal of it. And mix that with his tackling skills, and that's why I was saying against the run, he's real close to being great already. And he's got a little bit of work to go otherwise, but in coverage, he's getting there as well. As I've already been pinpointing over and over again, you can see the hands. Look, he tips that pass. If he doesn't tip that pass, that's definitely a reception there and a first down. That is a tipped pass. Watch it show you to you. Boom, right there, tip. The Rams guy can't make that catch after that, and that's the play. So after watching all the film there is to watch from the 2022 season on Cody Barton, I think that the truth is he is still very much a work in motion. Now, if you look at the tail of the tape, since being drafted in the 3rd round in 2019, he's appeared in 65 games, starting 16, and he started 11 last season, and he registered 136 combined tackles, 4 for loss, 2 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, 6 tip passes, 2 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. I'll shout it from any rooftop you let me stand on that he's good, almost great against the run, and that he's improved a lot over the course of the 2022 season. Now, against the pass, he seems to get his hands on the ball quite a bit, which could lead to a lot of turnovers if you keep working with him. He's pretty good in zone, which is a good thing since that's what Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio use a absolute ton of, which sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to you, drives me insane. But if I'm shooting it to you straight and you guys know that's what I'm going to do, this kid still looks a lot of things that stuck out, good or bad. But one thing that stuck out for me, I noticed at the beginning of the season, it seemed like he kind of got, caught up watching his teammates, the other guys on his team make tackles instead of joining in. Like he would continue to kind of stand there, maybe like stand a yard in front of him so in case the guy broke free, he could grab him instead of kind of joining in and gang tackling. But I did notice as the season went on that did improve. And I mean, if you really look at everything, he signed to a 1-year deal. It's a $3.5 million contract, which is not a lot of money nowadays at all. And it's fully guaranteed. But it's clearly the 1-year prove-it type of deal that we've seen from Ron and company in the past, over the past 3 years or whatever, going in the 4th year now. But if he shows out, Cody Barton could in fact be in line for another contract in Washington, or he could do a whole lot, to improve his situation and head out for a second shot at the open free agency market next offseason. Now, one thing that I don't think it changes is the need at the position. I understand there hasn't been a whole lot of importance put on the position by the coaching staff, but I still believe that somewhere in the mid to late rounds, they should think about taking another linebacker. And I also believe that Khaleke Hudson should be in line for more starting time as well. And I'm not 100% certain that they're even done signing anybody. And I know I've had several people asking me, well, do you think he's better than Cole Holcomb? Do you think he's better than Cole? I'll say this. I think that they're kind of similar, honestly. I believe that Barton has a chance to be better. but I believe that probably Holcomb is probably the more polished player right now. And of course, Cole signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers here, I believe it was last week. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments, and if you haven't done it yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for those of you that have been asking when I'm going to put videos out, you might want to think about hitting that notification button as well. Ringing the bell literally is the only way that you can guarantee that you'll be notified of every single video I put out. Otherwise, you'll have to depend on the subscription, section of YouTube that it kind of appears like, does anybody even use that anymore? Seems like everybody just uses the homepage, right? Do me a favor though, y'all, hit that like button on your way out too. It doesn't cost a single dime, but it helps out plenty. Y'all take it easy. Peace.